Hello my friends, John LaRuffa here with another Straight Up Solo, and in this episode we're going to take a look at Pocket Paladin. I'm going to show you how this game plays. It is a solo only game, and it is heavily inspired by Mage Knight, so there'll be a lot of comparison here. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay folks, and as usual, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you have, I do really appreciate the support. Thank you very, very much. So this game is a very, very small game, right? And that's the whole point of the game. It's supposed to be one you can fit in your pocket or in your wallet or whatever else. And the entire game packs up into two of these regular card sleeves. Okay, one for the game and then one for the four different player helper cards that come with the game. Now, these cards and components are perfectly acceptable to be used without actually having to sleeve them. They're all like laminated, and not laminated, but they have this plastic sheen on them, so they're very robust. So even though I am a sleever, I do not feel the need to sleeve these. It's a very rare thing, and that would also kind of goof up the whole transportability. So what are you doing in this game? Well, you're effectively trying to win by conquering the castle right there, all right? And the castle does not start, by the way, I'm in the third round of a 5-round easy game. The castle does not start on the board itself, it starts hidden. You start down on a card that was actually below this, and you start to make your way up through the cards, defeating enemies and gaining experience along the way, just like you do in Mage Knight, which inspired this game. And then eventually you will take the bottom card and flip it over, reveal the top card, and that will be the card that will have the castle on it. Now, depending on the difficulty you play, that determines how many rounds that you get to work with, as well as the amount of enemies you have to beat in the castle at the very end. So on easy, you get 5 rounds, and you have 2 enemies that are fortified in the castle itself, and then 1 that's wandering. Now, the enemies themselves are all, as is your token here, represented by these very small little thin discs. But these discs are actually more robust than I thought they would be in the first place. They are made of that same kind of paper, and it's like a rigid laminated style of card, so to speak. So it's got a little more reinforcement to it. It's not flimsy. But as you can see, all of the statistics on the monster are all crammed into this little guy, and so you're not going to be able to see them on this video. But I just wanted to show you an example of what is being shown here. This is a magic-based monster. It's a mage, and that's because it's got a purple bottom color right there. It has a health amount of 3. It has an attack of 2. It is resistant to physical attack. It also has a trap and a deadly characteristic to it. And if this thing was in a tower, you would double the attack and double the health points, but instead of giving you 2 points of experience when you finish it, you'd actually get 4 points of experience. Now on the back of these monsters, there are allies which you can recruit and skills which you can learn. The ally is represented up on the top here, has a recruit cost of 7, has, in this case, this one provides a 6 to block physical damage. And this also shows that it has 6 health if you decide to wound it. If you take it for the skill, none of that matters. It's just the bottom here. And the bottom here says that you can spend 2 movement points to get into a lake. And if you're in a lake at the end of the turn, you will get 1 blue crystal. So there's lots of stuff packed into these little discs. And you have 3 of them available in your marketplace that you can either recruit or earn as skills. Now, how do I do that? Well, every time I go up a level, I will either gain another slot for an ally, or I'll gain another slot for a skill, and that's printed in this small little spot down there. And so going up levels is very important because you get more skills, which helps you take more powerful actions, and allies, which you can use at clutch moments, which I'll demonstrate just in a second, to win enemies or to win in combat, defeat enemies, and gain more experience. Now, how am I taking all my actions in this game? Well, that's what this is over here. This replaces all of the cards from Mage Knight. All right, what this does is this shows the different abilities that you can take, and you could take 3 of these different skill abilities. Not skill abilities, pardon me. You can activate 3 of these just different abilities on a turn, and you can either take the basic ability, which is represented in the top portion of these things, or you can spend a crystal of a specific type to take the bottom one. Now you'll notice that there's arrows in here too. Those arrows are how you can move your ability token across this card to use them. And it is totally allowed to, for instance, I'm on this spot right here. If I was to go let me just say this. At the beginning of the game, you only have access to the yellow spots with the yellow arrows. As you level up, I'm at level 3, you open up the white arrows. And as you get to level 5, you open up the full card, these green arrows. And it's totally allowable if the card has a back and forth arrow to go back, forth, and back again to gain action points that you can spend on your turn. Now, I'm not going to go into all the specifics of how you can do that, but basically what happens is that when you take a turn, you have to generate all the action points you're going to use on that turn, and they have to be generated in a way that you don't break the action point chain. What I mean by that is, if I wanted to move 6, okay, I would not be able to go here to move 2, get to attack, and then activate this for another 4 to get my my 4th movement point. Let's pretend, well, and I can't even because the arrow's going the wrong way, but the movement has to be in 2 connected or 3 connected nodes. You can't just like go from one kind of action to another type of action, then back to a move. It doesn't work that way. You have to be able to chain it all together. So the big thing about this game is you are doing what you would expect you would do in a game inspired by Mage Knight. You're trying to gain that experience to make yourself powerful enough to actually defeat this grouping of enemies, which you don't have to beat all at once. You can fight them, kill one of them, retreat. There are ways to do that just like you would in Mage Knight, and that's all detailed in the rule book. So what's going to happen? What can you do? Well, you can move around, and as you'd expect, movement to different terrains costs different amount of movement points, especially if it's day or night with the forests and the desert. You can fight. You can influence people at the town to give you things like leveling up and healing and all that's really called interaction. And then, did I say leveling up? I'm sorry. What I really meant was hiring allies, gaining crystals, those types of things. And then when you have enough experience, you can level up by spending the experience. Like right now, I have 2 of these monsters that I defeated previously, which is a total of 5 experience. Unfortunately, I need 6 to be able to level the next one. So let me demonstrate a turn for you. I'm just starting out here on this round. And so I can take 3, I could use 3 of these skills, 3 of these abilities, plus any of these skills, depending on the condition. This one's a one-time use. This one lets me use per turn. So check it out. Per turn, 1, each turn. You can use this once. I could do 2 block, or 2 physical block, or 2 movement, okay? This skill over here says I can move on a mountain space, which is what I'm standing on right now. And that costs me 2 movement. And if I'm up there and I turn there, I get a black crystal. And then I have this ally up here who provides 3 range attack. All right, so what I need to do is I need to fight this monster right here. This monster is in a tower. It's a mage. I keep saying monster, but it's a mage, and it's in a tower. Pardon my hands. And that means it's fortified, which means that instead of 5 attack, it actually has 10 attack. And instead of 2 health, it has 4 health. So that's a problem. Also, because it's fortified, and that's because that particular situation is because it's in a tower, not because it's fortified. But being in a tower also makes it fortified. What that means is I'm not allowed to attack it with a ranged attack unless I can use precise. And that's an ability right here. And in order to defeat it, I have to deal with this physical resistance, which basically will cut in half all of my physical attack. So how am I going to do this? Well, I would have to generate 4 physical attack. 4 magic attack in range. No, I'm sorry. This is doubled, so this is 4. That means if I wanted to do it with physical attack, it actually has to be 8. All right? If I want to do it with magic attack, it just has to be 2. So is there a way I could do magic attack? Well, that's why I got to look over this card and see what skills I have. Unfortunately, I don't have any magic ranged attack on this card. I don't have any skills that let me do that. So I would have to figure out, well, how could I overcome this? Could I generate enough points to do that? And as it stands right now, it doesn't look like I have a real good way to do that, because when I was originally looking at this turn, planning it out, I thought, well, I could move here, spend this temporary crystal to generate 3 physical range. I could use my ally to generate 3 more physical range. That would be 6. And then I could move down here and spend my 1 diamond resource. Sorry, these are all moved up here. And that would give me the precise I need. And that would almost be enough, except, and then of course I'd have to move. And to move, I could use my skill over here to move twice for 2 movement points, pardon me. And then I could use this last one, which you can always move use any of these as movement if you wanted to go into a place and basically, I'm sorry, you can always use any of these as one specific skill, like 1 movement point, 1 attack, 1 defense, 1 whatever, 1 basic thing. But that's not going to quite work, because I'm going to come up short. And since it's an all or nothing situation, so that makes this guy really tough to deal with. So I'm not going to go there, right? So that's the thing you got to think about in this game is, like, if I can't win it, there's no chance. It's all deterministic. Similarly, just like the Mage Knight was. So let's see about this guy. This guy doesn't have a resistance. He has 3 health, 4. He's flying. So flying means that enemies cannot be attacked in the range phase unless your range has precision. All non-range attacks in the melee phase are halved. Well, I need to do the precision anyway, but in this case, he has 6 health, and he doesn't have any of this resistance, so I can get him, as long as I understand it right, I can kill him. So I can generate 3 right now, so I'm going to use this. That's 3 ranged. I'm going to exhaust this guy. That's 6 ranged. That should be enough to get him, to kill him. I'm going to spend this to make it precise. And I need to move into that spot. And that spot was a hill. So hills are 3 in the daytime and nighttime. So that would be using this ability right here for 2, and moving 1 more to just use that as an anytime ability to make that my 3rd. And that's what I'm going to do. So that should be enough to kill him. So I'm going to move him off the board. And that generates me 3 experience. Now I have 3 and 3 and 2. So that's 6. That's 8 experience. Well, I could spend the 6 right now by discarding these 2. And then that allows me to move up here to level 4, which does not unlock any more of my card, but it does allow me to hire another ally. So we're going to put these guys, these just become bottom things. I'm going to save this one for later from an experience standpoint. But that's my whole turn. So I have another turn I could take. Well, what would I want to do? I could, I'm sorry, I'm in here now. Now, what I'd really like to do is find a way to get into this town and recruit this guy. And I want to be very clear about something, what I don't know if I did before. When you generate action points, you have to use the points before switching to another point or another type. Okay, so what I mean by that is, if I need to move into a spot, I have to generate those movement points first before I generate the attack points. I can't generate the attack points and then at the end use the move and like switch it around. It's not allowed. You got to do it in order that you're going to use it. So, for instance, if I want to go in here, I have to have 3 in the daytime. Well, I could go to this spot for 2, and I could use one of my skills for 4. That would get me in there, okay, which is good. But how would I generate the influence I need to buy this, or the interaction points, if you will? And to do that, I need to somehow get 5 of these things. So let's just say I was to do this. So this would take me up here. That's 2 plus 2 more is 4. So I'm in there for 1 of my actions, and there I am. Now, to get more, I'd love to be able to get over to here, but I don't think, yes, I can do that. So watch how I would have to do that. So I would then, now generating interaction points, go down here to make one regular point by just ignoring what was in there and going down there, and then spending my temporary spade or blue resource to go here for the 4 more. That would give me the 5 that I need to then recruit this guy as an ally. And we take another one off of the top stack here and make him into the next ally. And so if I made a mistake in the order of operation on attacking this, I apologize. But basically, that's what you have to remember. You have to use it or lose it when you make points. And they have to be, you can use up to 3 skills, but you can't just put them together in some theoretical thing. You've got to be able to string it along. All right, I need movement points. I need to use them right away. Then I need attack points. I need attack points right away. Then after that, I have to do things in order. So, long story short, that kind of gives you a good feel about the way this game plays, and now I will let you know what I think about it. So, what I would say for those people who like Mage Knight or like the concept and the style of Mage Knight, this game does an amazing job giving you that in such an extremely small footprint, which is a feat in and of itself, which is just fantastic. Also, I think that based on the card generating the action points based on using those abilities, it's really clever, really clever. And it makes for even more fun experience, I think, because you're not trying to just draw cards and hope that you get the combo you need. You got to puzzle it out, which is really cool. You can think things through as much as you can master the awareness of what's going on in this game. You can plan to make it happen. Everything is deterministic besides the fact that you don't always know which enemies are going to be in places. So, for instance, you know what the wandering monsters are going to be when you set up the game, but you don't know what's going to be in the tower until, if it's in the daytime, you move next to the towers. If it's in the nighttime, you have to move into the towers. There's also these tunnels you can get through, and you will fight a towered enemy, which you don't know what it is, when you go in and out. And so there is some chance you don't exactly know what you're coming into, but there's a ton of stuff that you can strategically plan for. And that card and how you puzzle it out is simply brilliant. It was a really good way to do the action generation. I really like it. I think it's super, super cool. I also love that a little bit of the chance of what is my random resource going to be and how can I make that work for me? If I flip that little dial, what's it going to give me? What's the flexibility I'm going to get out of it? Am I going to get an either or resource? Am I just going to get one? And that's cool because it helps you say, okay, well, this turn, and this exact turn, I can't get done what I want to do. So what am I going to do? Well, I need to at least use that skill so I can flip it. Maybe I get a different one. Or maybe I'll take a little bit of a detour to go to town or to go into a storm and try to generate some experience that way versus trying to kill what's on the board. Or maybe I have to do something different. It's just really, really cool. And to have all of that in such a small footprint is just fantastic. So this game seriously can travel with you wherever you go. I mean, you put it in your pocket, you put it in your wallet, you have a little thing to keep it from bending, and that's all you need. I mean, just so small. The whole thing fits inside something like this, which is fantastic. Now, so I'll say this. Gameplay is truly, truly I'm just baffled by how much there is in such a small amount of components. That's fantastic. It gives you the full Mage Knight experience when you're playing Conquest. Okay, the only thing you don't get here is the deck building aspect because there is no deck building. You're not building a deck, you're unlocking that card. But you get a bunch of different monsters or mages, you get a bunch of different skills that come up, different allies, you get 2 different types of paladins that you can work with, one that starts with skills, one that starts with the companion slot, and have slightly different cards to them as well. And you have a little bit of board variety in what happens, or what comes with it. But you also can tack on, if you want, this sideboard to do a whole bunch of other stuff. This would add time to the game, but also add some flexibility because there's more going on. There's more that you have to deal with. And they give you enough difficulty levels to help you scale for your ability. And that is good. You can play on casual, which gives you 6 rounds to do stuff, the weakest amount of castle challenges to fight through, to just kind of get an idea what to do. And then as you work up that difficulty, you start to tighten up how much time you have. You start to have to think more strategically and more cleverly to figure out what to do. Just fantastic. So all that is great. The components even, I thought I was going to be worried about the thinness of the components. I'm really not. It actually works out pretty well. Sliding things around is not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It might be a little bit frustrating to kind of pick stuff up if you don't have any nails to do it or whatever, but it works out actually better than I thought. The only thing that I think is needed, and I believe the designer is working on something like this, is some kind of online reference sheet so that you can read each of the monster tokens by themselves, no matter what. Because my problem is the colors blend in a little bit. The icons are so small, it's very hard to know, is that slow or poison? Is that a trap, or is that part of the artwork? Is that a physical resistance, or is it a magic resistance? It just a simple thing you could look at on your phone would clear all that up, because you can recognize what the monster is. There's no problem with that. You can see the attacks, you can see the health points and things, but just some of it just blends together. Not to say that the graphic fidelity isn't sharp, but this is extremely sharp given how micronized everything is. It's a very crisp image, but people like me, as your eyes, and I wear contacts, but as your eyes and things get older, it's just harder to see up close. And I'm having a hard time reading these things with the definitive clarity that I would want. So either the designer will do that, or you get like some little magnification device or something so you can see what's going on, or maybe you take a picture of these things close up or whatever. But that is a minor thing, because once you deal with it, that's it. That's all you need. It's really, really, really good. I highly recommend you look into it if you like Mage Knight. If you don't like Mage Knight, if you found that deterministic gameplay to be not for you, and it wasn't just because of the deck building, but it was something else, then this is not going to be the game that convinces you otherwise. But if you're looking to put that experience in your pocket, you cannot go wrong with this. And I'm being honest here. It's just, I'm just very impressed. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I really appreciate it. And whatever you do in the future, I really, truly hope you have a good time, fantastic time doing it. Last thing, I know the designer is putting this up at the time of my filming this pretty soon into the Game Crafter. So take a look for information out there on Pocket Paladin as far as how do you buy the game through Game Crafter. But he's going to use, hopefully he'll take this video and put it for his campaign. Again, I was provided this copy for free for review, but this is an honest review. I would not give it this kind of glowing remarks if I didn't think that this was a truly gem of a product. So, all right. Thanks, everybody. Take it easy.